Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between Mouz, Mana, and SjoW here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Mouz, Mana spawning as the green Protoss player on the south side of the map. Meanwhile, we have SjoW spawning on the north side of the map as the red Terran player. Terran versus Protoss here in the Xel'Naga Caverns, and very interesting to see on how this game particularly plays out. Like I've said before, Xel'Naga Caverns only has 2 spawning locations, so both players know exactly where the other player is. It does not look like anyone's going to be opening up with any cheese play or any cheese strategy so far. Production-wise, Mouz, Mana needs to set up that pylon. There we go, now getting that pylon, and this pylon will construct in about 25 units of time. Meanwhile, supply depots also take 30 units of time to build. So that's one of the differences between Terran, Protoss, and Zerg. If you are supply locked as a Terran player, it actually takes you a little bit more time to try to become out of supply lock just because of the 5 additional seconds it takes in order to build a supply depot. And you can use the orbital call down in order to try to call down supply drops and try to relieve yourself from being supply locked. However, that is a very, very expensive way to do this. SjoW now also setting up a barracks over here as we now have the gateway being placed down here. So I like the building placement by Mana. Mana with this building placement, with this gateway, will make it very difficult for any Reapers to try to run into this location and deal any damage across these probes, buying precious time for these probes to pull out and save themselves. We now see one probe now making its way off to the north, and will it be able to get a lot of scouting information? Quickly we'll see that there is a refinery already in play, and now will the probe try to go after that one SCV? The SCV is currently trying to build it. I believe that SCV should have no problem trying to build that one particular barracks, as that barracks is nearly completed already. One SCV now trying to chase after, and now we have a Marine currently being trained, upgrading to an orbital command. This probe perhaps going to do a little bit more chasing once again as another supply depot now coming in. So in comes this probe. Probe will be able to get some quick damage onto this SCV. SCV needs to change locations. However, SjoW may end up losing this SCV. Now trying to pull back out, and now we have a fresh Marine coming out. So that Marine will be able to get some damage across that probe. That probe trying to run around that corner plane, ring around the command center, and that one Marine just trying to get as much damage up as possible, making sure that it cannot recharge those shields. And that probe just doing a good job of constantly trying to juke that one Marine, and now trying to get more damage. A second Marine coming in, so 2 Marines will be able to deal deal damage very quickly, and down goes that scouting probe. We now see the factory coming in by SjoW, and the key question will be, did Mana see that factory? And it looks like he did. So SjoW now knows that there is a factory currently coming into play, in addition to more Marines currently being built as well. A scouting pylon being built over here to the north side of the base, making sure that it's able to catch any early drops and an early detection system, and in order to try to pull those probes and try to save them. We do have the Cybernetics core now currently upgrading with that warp gate research, and that warp gate research will help with the production of additional stalkers, sentries, zealots, and all those standard tier 1 buildings. And now we see Mouz, Mana getting for a hidden Stargate. So we have a Stargate being built over here. The key question is, are we going to see Void Rays or are we going to see Phoenixes? Both are very strong options. Phoenixes are able to graviton beam critical units, while Void Rays are able to attack ground and air and deal a significant amount of damage. However, Void Rays do have a relatively slow movement speed for a flying unit, only the same walking speed as a Marine, so it will have a very difficult time trying to take down any of these mass Marines if SjoW continues to train up more and more. SjoW also getting a starport up, and will we see a medevac? No, currently lifting up, and now we are going to see medevacs joining in on, no sorry, Banshees joining in on this fight. So SjoW now gonna start training up medevacs. Will he also try to go for cloaking research is a critical question as well. We now see one Hellion trying to test the waters. However, that Hellion will not be able to deal any real damage. I wanted to see if the Hellion was able to see up that ramp. I don't think he was able to catch sight of that one Zealot there. And now we do not have the cloaking research being researched at this time. Perhaps we are going to get Siege Tank and Siege Tech instead. So Banshee is in the air, Siege Tanks on the ground with a lot of Marine support. Hellion also doing some scouting, trying to make sure that there are no proxy pylons being positioned anywhere that he has to really worry about. We do see currently 1 Phoenix on the ground. A second Phoenix needs to be trained up, as Phoenixes are best in groups, so that one can graviton beam and another can shoot it down. And now we also have Stalkers, Zealot, and Sentry trying to make sure that there is nothing happening over in this position as well. army-wise, 700 versus 675. So 675 does have a stronger gas army, and this is all currently being built off of 2-gate with an observer currently being trained. I also believe that you can start training up immortals as well if you have enough minerals. As long as you don't chrono boost the Stargate and the robotics facility, you would be able to train up a lot of those higher tier units. And now a nice graviton beam picking up and taking down that one Hellion there. A Banshee now trying to come in, but that Banshee will have a very, very difficult time as well, as Phoenixes will be able to just simply pick apart that one Banshee there. So 2 Phoenixes able to take out their favorite units, 1 Hellion and 1 Banshee, and now all that is left is just siege tanks and Marines. So those Phoenixes will have a fairly difficult time. However, are we going to push in and try to graviton a Mule, taking down one quick SCV and now going after that Mule as well? So that Mule has been taken down, really reducing the amount of minerals that SjoW is currently harvesting. Nicely done so far by these Phoenixes. Phoenixes able to just constantly do a lot of harassment. Marines just trying to catch up with these units, however unable to, getting a couple quick shots onto that medevac. Medevac taking what I believe 20 points of damage or 15 points of damage so far, as these units once again pull back. We do have a couple Stalkers and Zealots on the ground. We are going into Void Rays now, so Void Rays now being trained, and this unit combination is looking very strong for Mana. Mana now getting those Void Rays. Also Siege Techs now being trained up as well army wise. 1350 versus 1350. Mouse Mana needs to start saturating these particular mineral patches. We see, what, 12 probes now being transferred to the expansion location. He's currently sitting on about 15 probes over here. Yeah, 15 or 16 probes over here. I think that's actually 15. Yeah, one observer. 15 probes over there, or 14. I can count. Really, I can count. Stalkers and Zealots now on the ground. One observer also still sitting in this position. Not quite sure why Mana is not scouting out with that observer as Phoenix is continuing to do more and more harassment. Finally, SjoW calls down mules into his natural expansion and will be able to start mining up more efficiently as well. You can see that SjoW will have a stronger economy in just a moment as he's able to call down 2 mules at a time. These Phoenixes need to try to pick up those mules and deal more damage to them. We do see what Marines now being trained, and also another medevac currently in play as well. So these Phoenixes trying to look for and trying to graviton beam those Marines. However, they are just so well hidden amongst all of those SCVs that is a fairly difficult. Back over here in the center of the field, graviton beaming another Hellion. One Hellion will get taken down. We do see 2 more Hellions hiding down over here. Will they be able to get any damage dealt? I do not think so. They may be able to come around this back corner. However, there is one pylon in this position acting as an early scout as well. One observer in the air sitting outside the front door of SjoW. We does see that there is one medevac as these Phoenixes perhaps going to try to graviton beam. No, not going to graviton. Will he graviton beam a Marauder? Yeah, now graviton beaming a Marauder. I do not believe a Phoenix can actually take down a Marauder. It is not a light unit. Also has a base armor of 1. Yeah, so it takes 2 graviton beams to kill a Marauder there, and now in come these Hellions, and these Hellions may get some quick kills here. However, Stalkers and Sentries trying to come in. One force field sticking one of those Hellions, and that Hellion is now currently stuck in place. Graviton beaming again, and now this one Marauder will get shot down finally, and down it goes. So yeah, 2 Phoenixes able to pick off another Marauder. We do have 1 Hellion sitting over here, able to scout away or pull away as these Phoenixes looking for that last Hellion. And now we finally see SjoW on the move. SjoW with a fairly decent sized army, 2,300. And now we have 3 Void Rays. However, those Void Rays need to be fully charged in order to deal any significant damage. I do not see any Colossi and no High Templars to deal with, and the Marines, the sheer number of Marines that we see, there's not enough Marauders, and I think SjoW's combination will simply be able to deal a lot of damage across all of these Void Rays. You can take a look. There is Stimpact. We should probably be getting the Combat Shield. No Combat Shield coming in from SjoW. So SjoW's Marines will be low on health, 35 hit points after 1 Stim. And now we have, what, 4 Void Rays in the air and a lot of Phoenixes. Will it be enough? We also have a couple Guardian or a couple Force Fields and Guardian Shields capable from those units as these units now try to move out. Are we going to get a charge on this Nexus? That's going to be the key question. No, charging on the Assimilator, and now we'll try to move out. Will it be able to deal enough damage? Stalkers need to move out. This one Nexus now constantly charging and now finally moving into position, trying to deal damage. Marines now stimming, and stim Marines dealing so much damage across so many of those Void Rays. And no, not enough Guardian Shields in order to keep this fight up. Marines and Marauders now trying to pull back. Medevacs taken down by those more and more of those Phoenixes. However, those Void Rays unable to deal that much damage, and now this expansion will get taken down. Siege Tanks fighting very, very far away, trying to deal more and more. Will it be enough? Siege Tanks also trying to deal damage towards those backdoor rocks, and now the Nexus has been taken down. So as this Nexus is taken down, SjoW deciding to do a tactical retreat and not wanting to continue that pressure. A very smart move by SjoW. SjoW knows that he most likely has the economic advantage, or he believes he has the economic advantage, as he's able to mine from 16 mineral patches. Meanwhile, Mana is just confined to 8 mineral patches here. So you can see the economy difference, 1,500 versus 800 at this stage in the game. One observer now making its way out across the map. However, I believe there is one Raven. Yeah, one Raven right there. So that Raven will be spotted, and as soon as that observer gets any closer, will be able to get shot down. Now trying to Graviton Beam, pick up more and more of those units. We do see one observer now trying to make its way across, or Marines now trying to make its way across. However, if the meta, or if the Raven went along, that one observer taken down anyways because of the sight on that Raven. So Raven with a point defense drone, and also not getting enough Guardian shields. Also, Mana is a little bit late in terms of getting these Colossi. There is the extended thermal lance research currently being researched by the robotics bay. Needs to be chrono boosted as well, as we are also getting more and more Colossi. Will he be able to reach critical mass is the key question. We have Phoenixes now trying to go after some of those Medevacs. Medevac taking some points of damage, and now going after some of those units as well. Marines now trying to make their way in, able to take down that Raven. And that was a very, very expensive unit to lose pretty needlessly in that fight, as there was a lot of Marines able to offer support. One observer here, army-wise, 4,300 versus 36. We do see Vikings now being trained up. Only one Viking currently in the air, as we are now getting a planetary fortress, a Nexus now being placed down here. And now Mana desperately needs to train up and try to chrono boost as many probes as possible in order to get back into this game, economically speaking. We do see Zealots down over here. However, those Zealots do not have Zealot charge, as those Phoenixes once again try to make a move. They're not going to be able to deal all too much damage, able to take down that one scouting unit. And now Marauder activating this. So I believe, yes, the sensor tower does detect those Phoenixes in the air. And that is about it so far. One observer still on the ground, as we now have 6 siege tanks moving out. So that is a very large army indeed. Will it be enough to fight back? And now those Phoenixes trying to pull back. We now see a Colossi with that extended thermal lance research trying to get as much damage dealt. And now Marines and Marauders trying to push in. Those Colossi need to pull back, as those siege tanks are siege. Both sides fighting, both sides doing a lot of damage. Mouse Mana able to deal a lot of damage across the board. However, I believe there's going to be too many Marauders, as the Void Ray should be focusing down more and more on those Immortals. Sorry, on those Marauders. However, units continue to fight, and Mouse Mana is looking like he did somehow barely able to escape this fight. More units coming down over here. There is a planetary fortress, so he does not want to engage here. We do see 2 Colossi, and now more siege tanks coming in to reinforce army-wise. 2,700 versus 2,750 siege tanks just outside of siege range, I believe. However, we'll be able to deal some damage across here. Siege tanks now getting blasted away by those siege tanks. No ground units, and now Mouse Mana most likely will be forced to say GG, as these Colossi trying to pull away, taking so much damage from those siege tanks. Siege tanks able to push with a very, very heavy mech army, and SjoW taking the game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Mana and SjoW here in the Xel'Naga Caverns.